Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and today I'm proud to announce the worst gaming news of 2023. Now you might be like, well damn Muda, 2023 just began, and how can you even say this is the worst news ever? Now let me tell you about a company known as Square Enix, okay? They're an indie company out of Japan. You might have heard of some small-time games like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, some triangle strategy. Okay, what was the first PlayStation 2 game they ever made? Some weird boxing game. You might remember that. Okay, Square Enix, they're pretty well known. Okay, they're a big boy company out of Japan. Now to understand, Square Enix, like most AAA gaming companies, have kind of dabbled in the NFT market, and of course, rightfully so. They've pretty much been, made fun of to the ends of the earth. Now, to get started with it, crypto has had a bad year last year, okay? Market went down, FTX's bankruptcy kicked in. I heard some influencers are even running zoos apparently using cryptocurrencies, and that's going about as well as a venereal disease. So let's get started with NFTs, okay? Now, to understand, my stance on NFTs is pretty hardcore. I don't get it, okay? I don't understand the point of it, but we'll get to it in a second. To understand just how bad the NFT market is, we're going to look at some raw, hardcore data, okay? I know some people, okay, they get a little butt hurt when we look at data together, but we're going to look at data and see just how bad the market has gotten. Now, when we look at all segments of NFTs and the market trends of it, from non-fungible, you can see that, ladies and gentlemen, back in January 2022, it was pretty healthy, okay? They had somewhere around 78,000 sales going on, a market value of $108 million, which is pretty good. That's how much volume was being traded around a day. Of course, now, if you look at the market, aside from this big-ass spike right here, you can see that, bam, the NFT market has kind of been dwindling a little bit. Now, I don't know why that could be. Maybe people have realized that buying virtual pictures that have no goddamn utility to them whatsoever might actually be a really stupid purchase, okay? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. But of course, the markets have dwindled, and of course, NFTs are a former shell of what they used to be. But that doesn't stop Square Enix from tripling down on this situation. Now, this letter comes from January 1st, 2023. I'm not joking, I'm not lying. Hell, I'll hit refresh right here. That is a 2023 page right there. So let's get into, I would like to begin by wishing everyone a happy new year. This is from the president, okay? Let's get this going. Countries around the world experienced soaring inflation in 2022. The U.S. Federal Reserve, accelerated the pace of its tapering effort at the outset of the year, and Russia's subsequent invasion of Ukraine resulted in heightened geopolitical risk. Of course, we're talking about supply chain issues, inflation, yada, yada, yada. The economy is in a poop storm right now, and of course, it's going to take a while to recover. Again, we came out of a pandemic, supply chain issues kicked in, and money was printed like no tomorrow, okay? It's like an Epson printer on crack. So of course, inside here, they talk about, on the development side, we sold 3 studios, Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal. Thank you, Jesus, that Eidos and Crystal got sold out, because now the Deus Ex franchise can be touched by a company that isn't as disgusting as Square. So, in terms of new business domains, we named 3 focus investment fields under our medium-term business plan. Among those, we are most focused on blockchain entertainment. All right, we'll get to it in a bit, in which we have devoted aggressive investment in business development efforts. Looking externally, I think it is fair to say that blockchain gained significant recognition as a field in 2022. Oh, you bet it did. As evidenced by Web 3.0 becoming a firmly established buzzword amongst business people. I've never heard Web 3.0 ever used by a normal person that wasn't terminally online, to be honest with you. But again, we can always look at the world of metaverses and NFTs and cryptos in regards to other companies like, for instance, Facebook, now known as Meta, that decided to put all their eggs into the metaverse basket, the virtual reality basket, and look where they're at right now. Absolute slashed silly as a company. But again, I guess Square Enix knows better. They even actually mention how FTX had a scandalous bankruptcy filing. Ooh, they even mention it right here, scandalous. In the wake of these developments, we hear rumblings from some countries of early moves to regulate such businesses more strictly. In Japan, meanwhile, the drive to encourage such businesses have gained momentum, led by the government. In 2022, the Japanese cabinet signed off on a plan called Priority Policy Program for Realizing a Digital Society, which includes wording regarding the creation of an environment for promoting the Web3 concept, including the use of NFTs on blockchain technology. Which is interesting because I didn't really know that Japan was pursuing this in the first place, but interesting to know. Of course, then we get into what they're talking about specifically, and let's get into the whole gaming side of things. Multiple blockchain gaming events held overseas recently produced more active discussion than ever before about what makes games exciting and what their user community looks like. The market was driven more by speculative investors than by gamers through 2021. I don't really believe those are mutually exclusive situations, but when they mention speculative investors, again, what is it really about NFTs that have any utility other than just raw speculation? We'll get to a lot of this in a second. In other words, the content that was at the forefront was created based on the premise that blockchain and NFTs should result in monetization. However, in the wake of the aforementioned turbulence in the cryptocurrency industry, there is now a trend to view blockchain technology as a mere means to an end and to discuss what needs to happen to achieve the end of delivering new experiences and excitement to customers, okay? Our group has multiple blockchain games based on original IPs under development. You know, there's a Final Fantasy one somewhere in the middle of this anus pustule, but some of which we announced last year, and we are undertaking preparations that will enable us to unveil even more games this year. So again, one of the games that they're apparently working on, and I'm not joking with you, this is like an actual legit cryptocurrency project, the NFT collectible art project from literal Square Enix, Symbiogenesis, okay? Again, I don't know the answer to this. I don't know if it's just art or a game or some weird project that they've made. But to understand, I'm going to give you the raw red pill of this whole situation. Most companies are interested in NFT technology because they want to try to communicate and try to have some control over the marketplaces that they make. Look, at the end of the day, the biggest problem with NFTs is the utility, okay? I would have no problem if NFTs were used for something actually meaningful. For instance, instead of trying to make a crap ton of money, maybe use NFTs as a form of digital licensing to allow us control over our third-party software. But that would really rely on every company being charitable enough to have some form of framework for an open NFT verification system. To understand what I'm talking about, in a perfect world, NFTs could work like this. For instance, I could go to Adobe and buy a lifetime membership to Adobe Premiere Pro, the editing software. Now let's say I don't even need the editing software anymore. I could then take my license, which could be an NFT on the blockchain, and just sell it to somebody who needs a license. Maybe like on a third-party market, I could sell it to them at a cheaper rate. But why would a company be so forward to allow me to resell my digital licenses when they can sell fresh ones at full-on prices that they control themselves? Even with the world of blockchains, most gaming companies are interested in having you sell and share your NFTs, which most likely would be third-party content or just content in a video game. Like, for instance, imagine playing a game like Rainbow Six Siege, okay? One of the most coveted skins in Rainbow Six Siege is known as the Black Eye skin, okay? The Black Eye skin is something you can unlock through alpha packs just by playing the video game. Now, for instance, imagine if I had a black ice gun for a character that I didn't use. If this was an NFT, I could then put this into the marketplace and sell it to another player that was wanting that specific skin for that gun. And then I could make money off of it, or we could trade it for an NFT. Like, imagine if they had a black ice skin for a character that I played, like Montaigne. Then I could just exchange it back and forth. And if there was money being spent, cryptocurrency, ultimately, Ubisoft in that case would make a fraction of the money. It's kind of like the Diablo Real Money auction house. Like, at the end of the day, people are selling things on the marketplace, and ultimately the house consistently will make a cut. If you are the house, you are making cream on top of every transaction happening. It's kind of like running your own payment processor, right? Like, everyone out there is just selling shit back and forth, and you're making like 2-3% off of every transaction. If you're running the house and the house is lucrative and popular, you are making a killing without really doing anything other than facilitating an online marketplace, which, given the overhead cost, is very minimal if you're making a crap ton of money off of it. So again, that's pretty much what we're getting at in this capacity. And why companies are so horny to push this onto video games is they know if they can make one popular NFT game, if one of them catches like wildfire, if one of them becomes as popular as Call of Duty Warzone, Apex Legends, Grand Theft Auto Online, then they have a cash cow for the long term. And the more cash cows they can establish, the more money as a company that they can make. So again, looking at NFTs right now with gaming, one of the most popular projects was Ubisoft Quartz. Now, you may not remember Ubisoft Quartz because even Ubisoft forgot about this dog shit. But this is where Ubisoft has their own blockchain technologies. Now, the only game that supports it is Ghost Recon Breakpoint, a game that even Ubisoft doesn't actually even care about. So for instance, you could have unlocked up to almost like 7 different NFTs. Now these are all different items. So for instance, you can get that gun, you can get this assault rifle, or sorry, this like chest piece. You can get this AR, you can get this mask if you manage to get some of these like achievements. For instance, CQC kills over 100, global playtime 600 hours. You could have gotten them, but right now these items are all no longer available. They made a limited quantity of these NFTs and sold them into the market. If you actually look at Ubisoft Quartz right now, the last sale that ever happened was on November the 14th, 2022. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, even on their marketplace, the amount of brand risk that they took, the hit to their entire brand, and the hit to them publicly was not worth the amount of money being traded on the marketplace. Again, Ubisoft doesn't have the balls to put this into some of their bigger projects like Rainbow Six Siege, or else the backlash would be immense. Nobody wants to ruin their branding, and these companies know it. Again, it's why this whole NFT shit is so insane that they keep pushing it onto the average person. If you want to see how bad NFTs have gotten, this is Justin Bieber's like a Twitter account, which is one of the most popular social media accounts, period, on the internet. Now, Justin Bieber, big artist, but if you look at the profile picture, he's got this weird gummy bear. This is actually an NFT from like the In-Betweeners, like a new collection that he's been working with. And of course, if you look very carefully at the blue gummy bear with like the other gummy bears around it and the purple background, it doesn't take long to actually go check real quick on the OpenSea that this NFT belongs to an account known as Justin Bieber NFTs. Now, of course, this was given to Justin Bieber, all right, if you look at it, airdropped from a null address to Justin Bieber a year ago. Now, apparently, this is offered, the best offer is $1,500. Now, it doesn't mean this NFT is worth $1,500 whatsoever. It's not even worth 5 cents, but that's just offers being put up to it. Now, if you go to Justin Bieber's account, Justin Bieber NFT, you can actually see one other NFT purchase that he made a long time ago. Now, this NFT Bored Ape that's crying right now, ladies and gentlemen, this is currently being offered at for $91,000, okay? Not that it's worth 91. No one's buying this, okay? No one is purchasing this dog water. In fact, the last transfer that happened was to Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber bought this for 500 Ethereum 11 months ago. If you want to know how much that is, looking at the day of the transaction, Biebs here paid around $1.3 million for this goddamn profile picture. Again, was never sold, was never done anything with. In fact, it's lost pretty much all of its value. So again, ladies and gentlemen, it's a wild thing to look at with NFTs in a lot of these situations. But again, we have to ask why the value is lost. Even if you just look at this In-Betweeners project that Justin Bieber has on his like profile picture, you can literally see this is all the project is. The In-Betweeners are an NFT collection of 10,777 bears that live on the blockchain. Okay, what do they do on the blockchain? Nothing, all right? They're literally just JPEG, PNG receipts that you're buying and sharing around. There does not appear to be any form of proper, I would say, utility, okay? It's not like you can use these in a video game. The most that I've ever seen these is people buying metaverse mansions and probably injecting them into their metaverse art galleries, in their metaverse mansions. And if that sounds sad and pathetic, it's because it is. But to dial on back, obviously, I'm just using that as an example to show how bad the market is, how useless it is, when at the end of the day, it's just speculatively raised. There's no actual utility to any of this. Even from a gaming perspective, nothing that NFTs do can necessarily provide anything that you haven't actually seen before. Even if you look at the concept of, hey, I own my video game skin, yeah, you own your video game skin on a blockchain that only exists within that video game. None of these projects are going to be replaced on any other system, period. It's not like you can take one gun skin and put it into another game, because guess what? You need to go sit down and start re-rigging animations, assets, working with different engines. It's not as simple as you think. I think what's really wild is like, this is Otherside, which is like one of the largest NFT projects from the Bored Apes Yacht Club people, where this is supposed to be like the big metaverse game. It's going to be NFTs, Web 3.0, the gaming of the future. And when you actually look at the video game concept of it, like the first Trip gameplay from 5 months ago, again, things could have changed. It's literally just a large-scale MMORPG where people are coming together to emote and communicate. That's it. This is shit that you would see in World of Warcraft. Again, even from Square Enix's own camp, Final Fantasy XIV Online. Nothing here is necessarily so new and wild that it's going to revolutionize or change gaming forever. Again, just based on what we saw with that crappy Otherside metaverse, what is the new experience? What is something that's going to radically change the way we play video games? Again, I want to ask the people that are the biggest supporters of this thing, like the two people that exist, but ultimately, I want to even get a word from Square Enix. Like, what do you actually think is the end game? What new experience do you logically think you can provide that can't already be done with the existing technologies that we have? At the end of the day, this comes across as a shitty, soulless crash cash grab from Square Enix to its actual base. And really, it makes it feel like the people who are at the top of the company are so goddamn out of touch with what gaming is even about that it really shows based on what the president has talked about. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Square Enix is a joke. One of the worst gaming news that I've ever seen in 2023. Why a company like this would double down on one of the shittiest technologies right now, period. I mean, there literally is no use case that I'm actually able to perceive right now, even if I'm being super charitable. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahara, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am